What's up? What's up, everybody? I want to do something about the some of the film study and thoughts I've been having about LSU, Tennessee, and yes, we are in my enclosed, fenced-in backyard right now because little guy's in there sleeping, and we're watching him solo. So we kind of improvising here, doing a kind of a random show here, but this is what I want to talk about with Tennessee coming into town tomorrow morning against LSU in Death Valley. Um, this is a big game for both teams, for both programs. Josh Heupel has a lot to prove, as you know, he's coming in. There's a lot of Heupel about Heupel. You know, there's a lot of he's an offensive genius, next Joe Brady. You know, a lot of love for this 2019 LSU offense. You know, coming into the fore here, and a lot of weird random comparisons, trying to compare Hendon Hooker to Joe Burrow, and it's like, way too early to go there, way too early to do that. They're a fast offense. Okay, they're a good offense, very good offense. They're putting up over 500 yards per game, very high powered, high octane. They run a lot of plays. They will absolutely bleed teams, and it's usually for me what I've seen mostly from Tennessee is, yeah, they've been playing a more favorable part of their schedule early, of course, but they are setting a tone for the rest of the season. It's been very ambitious, very interesting to see, and it Josh Heupel, great play caller. He's calling guys open. He's always calling guys open with the plays, the routes that he's calling. And Hendon Hooker, he's been a true dual threat. He's been throwing it like he's got a howitzer on his arm. He throws such a beautiful deep ball, and he just absolutely slings it quickly. Gives his guys time and space to make a play with the ball, and they're just a very well drilled, well put together offense. Over 559 yards per game, over 75 plays. Okay. 24 first downs, 24 completions, over 365 yards through the air, and 2.8 touchdowns through the air, 193 on the ground as well. If you go back and watch the Florida game, their biggest test yet so far. There was a lot of plays where Jalen Hyatt is just the biggest playmaker for this team. We can talk about Brew McCoy. We can talk about Hendon Hooker's ability as a dual threat quarterback. We can talk about, Cedric Tillman, some of their collection of running backs. But really, for me, the danger man has to be Jalen Hyatt. He's a stout, well-stacked receiver, very physical, very fast, very athletic, very smooth. He's going to get the ball. He's going to catch it. And he looks like a surefire mismatch for almost anybody. So this game, who's going to cover Jalen Hyatt? Who's going to spy and watch Hendon Hooker? Make sure he doesn't go for those open spaces. Harold Perkins is probably the best candidate for this defense to keep the framework still intact while letting him hunt, chase, pursue Hendon Hooker for 4 quarters. I know the freshman can do it. You can even have him come out for a few plays, have Mike Jones Jr. come in and do the same for a few plays as well. Give the young man a breather. But for me, Harold Perkins has the perfect skill set to be the spy on Hendon Hooker come tomorrow morning. Once again, sorry, this is our LSU Tennessee preview show after we've been kind of previewing this game all week. We're watching the little guy ourselves, so we're doing what we can. We're doing what we can out back here, trying not to make a ruckus so we can sleep. But looks like sounds like there's a ruckus going on behind me. But for this game, people are talking a lot about LSU's offense versus Tennessee's porous secondary, which we'll get into. But I wanted to lead off with what I felt like, is being overlooked. And that's LSU's defense versus this high-powered offense. I mean, can we get off on third down? Can we stop this offense? And that's really the thing. That's Matt House has been fantastic over his first 5 weeks. You can say what you want about the Florida State game, but they made enough adjustments to really turn the tide there. And Jordan Travis, yes, he cut us apart. Robbie Ashford cut us apart for some yards, put some points on the board. But that's the thing, is we really are damn good in the red zone. Really good red zone defense. I believe it was number 1 in the SEC for forced turnovers. Scoring a defensive touchdown like we did this last week, it's infectious for your defense. They just want more and more and more. Someone wants to be the next Greg Brooks Jr. to rip that ball out of the guy's hands. And so they're going to be hunting for that ball tomorrow against Tennessee. And that's the thing. Hendon Hooker looks fantastic. Okay. Cannon for an arm, true dual threat, putting up a ton of yards, putting up a ton of points. They have not faced a defense like LSU's yet. Not a defense as athletic or as versatile or as strong. But that's the thing, is LSU may have gotten a little bit of a preview of the type of offense they'd be facing against Mississippi State, but at the same time, it's nowhere close to what Tennessee are cooking up. Josh Heupel's really, 75 plays. We can't have that happening. 75 snaps for guys like B.J. Ojolari, Jay Ward, Greg Brooks Jr. Here's the thing. We still need to get better in coverage. For all the talk of Greg Brooks Jr. made an unbelievable pick, he's also been one of the most picked on in coverage this season so far. As he's continued to improve and get better, and can't really fault him for a lot of these plays either. Still, he's getting lost in coverage at times, and tomorrow is going to be a big test for him. A big test for Greg Brooks Jr. because they're going to be matching up these safeties against guys. They're going to have Jay Ward at nickel, helping out Mekhi Gardner, who should be getting the start. Is Jarek Bernard-Converse going to be starting at safety? Because if you start Jarek Bernard-Converse at safety, then you really, I think you have a better chance here coverage-wise. And he's shown he can really play the position. Joe Fuchsia allowed a touchdown in his debut. He was academically suspended for 4 games, hadn't played a game in so long. Bound to be something like that that's going to happen. It's going to happen. You're going to allow touchdowns. There's going to be mistakes from the defense in this game. But it's about how these guys can rebound, really, and it's about getting the best players on the field. And, Mekhi Wingo's got to be that run stopper again. He's got to continue to be that number 1 run stopper on this team, and 10th overall in the nation, according to Pro Football Focus. He was 15th the week before. Just continues to rise, Mekhi Wingo. Love what he's doing. And, we kind of called it. Okay, we kind of called it. Thought he'd still be kind of back up to Mason Smith, maybe getting some plays next to Jaquelin Roy, next to Mason Smith at random times. But we still thought he would show out and play fantastically with however many reps he's getting. We thought maybe like 30 snaps a game. He's getting like 60 plus now without Mason Smith there. And he's absolutely delivering. He's absolutely fantastic. And, next year, Mekhi Wingo's junior season, he's going to be right there next to Mason Smith, with Jaquelin Roy likely off to the NFL after this year. That's another player, too. Jaquelin Roy, LSU DT, kind of a quiet start to the year. Started to make some really big plays against Auburn because he's fully healthy now, as we found out. Yes, he had some type of back problem, I believe it was, something like that. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think I remember it being a back thing. But yes, he is back and ready, and fully. They were able to rest him during the New Mexico game at times. That was a big deal, having New Mexico and Southern like that, because we picked up some injuries early, and we still have some that are going to cost us. Mason Smith, like I just said, Sevian Banks, who's going to be out with a bruised neck. Luckily, it wasn't worse. Thank God. That looked bad, and you just immediately were like, no. Like, the football world collectively went on its knees and prayed, like, heal this young man. And it's insane how a best case scenario happened with him. I mean, it's insane, but we're so glad that he's only going to be out for like 6 weeks or something. So definitely a chance to return this season. Although it's okay if he doesn't. It's okay if he waits until next year to pick it up, because don't rush anything. Don't rush anything. But Seven Banks is out. Major Burns is out too, with kind of the same thing, a bruised neck. And it's because there's a lot of, these LSU guys have been hitting like crazy. And they've been hitting hard, playing aggressive. And when you do that and you play fast, naturally your head's going to be involved at some point, sooner or later. No matter how technically solid you are as a tackler, it's going to happen. And it's going to hurt. And something might happen that could cost you to be on the sidelines with an injury, and there's nothing more freaky than a neck injury. And so those two, we got to get them healthy. So that's why it sets the table for Jarek Bernard-Converse to play safety once again against Tennessee. And that probably is the best course of action anyway, because I think it improves LSU coverage wise. They're going to think, oh, we're going to get a matchup against safety here, but it's Jarek Bernard-Converse, an all Big 12 corner. So maybe you get a catch here or there or whatever, but you're not really going to get anything after the catch. He's been really strong with that. And that's the thing. If LSU can stop explosive plays in this game, we can get them off the field. We can put points of our own up. And that's the thing. Stop explosive plays. Because that's how Tennessee are going to get 24, 21 points probably, no matter what. If you can shut down those explosive plays, then they're not getting, 38, 41. It's very, these things in football create such a momentum, such an intensity that psychologically can hurt you as an opponent facing an offense such as we got with Tennessee. And so you cannot allow these explosive plays again and again and again. They're going to happen once or twice, 3 times a lady maybe, but you can't let it be 4, 5, 6 times coming back at you, baby. It can't be like that. It can't be like that. Hendon Hooker rush for a touchdown or something, a busted coverage or something early, okay. But you've got to adjust after that. You got to buckle down after that. Tennessee are going to really, Tennessee are going to do everything to get this win. This win means so much to that program and that fan base, far more than it ever could mean to this LSU program and fan base, just by the sheer, we want this win going into face Alabama and, this huge momentum and all this stuff, and we're coming back and blah 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 blah, and it's like LSU have to deny Tennessee that victory. Have to deny Tennessee that victory. Not at home, not in Death Valley. Um, you didn't do it in 2010. T. Bob didn't let you, and now we're gonna smash that chair like T. Bob did in the hype video, and we're gonna kick some ass and take some names and maybe kick down that door. Hopefully, that's the thing. Is if LSU are rock'em sock'em on defense early, and it's like hell yeah, and we're forcing Tennessee to punt it, but then LSU are just coughing the ball right back. Eventually, our defense is going to get worn down, and then the floodgates will open, because that's just what naturally happens, no matter how good your defense is. So this LSU offense absolutely have to put scoring drives together, and you know what? Let Jaden Daniels run. Let his legs control the game. And they effectively do control the game when he has used his legs to the best of their ability, which has pretty much been like 90% of the time when he's run the ball. He's getting positive plays. Very rarely is anything negative happening, except the receivers aren't getting the football, which is what everyone's talking about this week, which is something we've been talking about. We've talked about that extensively in our first preview of LSU Tennessee. We talked about that extensively in our video about Kayshon Boutte the other night. LSU's offense really have some opportunities here. Okay, they really have some opportunities against this Tennessee defense. And you know why? You know why? Because Tennessee's defense can't tackle on the outside. And even their number one tackler, Aaron Beasley, he's allowed the most catches of anyone on the team. He's absolutely been burnt in coverage. And it's not just like, 5 catches, but then only this many 20 yards or so. But it's been for big plays. But Kamal Hadden, he might have 2 interceptions on the season, 2 passes broken up and a forced fumble, but he's really been suspect in coming up with tackles after the catch. Really been burnt on some of these plays, as you just saw with Florida the other week, where Anthony Richardson was rolling out of the pocket. The secondary routes were there, or just these little hitches were there. Just boom, Richardson would get the ball out, and one move, and the guy. I mean, there was I think it was the first touchdown in the game from Florida against Tennessee. And it's so embarrassing from Tennessee, the tackling. Number 5 gets absolutely plowed over. It's absolutely plowed over. And then 2 or 3 other guys are like their tackling on the outside is awful. They do get, really highly touted corner, D. Williams, back, who's going to make his season debut. Highly touted JUCO talent, D. Williams. Will D. Williams get that cornerback and DB crew back up to snuff? It's hard to say, because here's the thing: this receiving core are absolutely, they're no match. They are absolutely outmatching Tennessee big time. I mean, Tennessee's secondary is like a gnat on the back of the necks of Kayshon Boutte, Jack Bash, Malik Neighbors, Jeray Jenkins, Brian Thomas Jr., Kyron Lacey. Sadly, Chris Hilton Jr. actually out for the season with the shoulder surgery, so couldn't include him there, sadly. But a stacked receiving core with those names, and I understand the production hasn't been there. But after this players-only meeting and a lot of more intense work together, passing the football, a lot of attention to detail in the film room, trying to figure out what's going wrong with this passing game. I think they're going to make just enough plays, and you're finally going to see it. Because if you don't see it this week, you're never going to see it this season. Okay? Like, you'll never see it this season if not this week. We have to see the big game from Kayshon Boutte. Because think about it. If Kayshon can catch a few deep balls against double coverage, when you're already having some success over the middle with these little mesh or slant routes to Jack Besh and Malik Neighbors, then you got Tennessee right where you want them, because then they can't cover anybody. And then you can, everybody's a threat. Then everybody's a threat. And then you got Jaden Daniels being able to run for a lot more heavy gains because everybody's deep, pinned back. And that's the thing about Tennessee's defense as well. What I was seeing in my film study, and it's not just the game against Florida. It's pretty much every single one of their games. They were playing way too many soft coverages and just allowing receivers to take 2 steps, turn, catch a football, and get 6 or 7 yards, even if Tennessee made the tackle. So even if Tennessee are making the tackles on the outside, there's 5, 6, 7 yards to be had there at a clip. And I understand this is dink and dunk, which is what won't cut it, supposedly, against Tennessee. I think it will. And I actually think it's perfect, because then we keep Hendon Hooker and that Tennessee offense off the field. But at some point, that dink and dunk has to open up to a deep shot down the field. Not just one, but multiple deep shots down the field to multiple different targets. And Kayshon Boutte, Jack Besh, Malik Neighbors, they have to be those 3 targets. They're the most aerial dominant receivers on this squad. Let them go up and make a play. And this is after you've been able to grind away at this porous Tennessee secondary. That's the thing, everybody. That's the thing, is like, it's not just the stats or anything, but watch Tennessee's film so far. The tackling in the secondary looks like 2020 LSU at times. It's almost like a slapstick comedy. You almost think it's going to be like a Football Follies DVD or something. Just crazy. And I expect them to be well up for it against LSU and really trying to lock in. They know what's being said about them. You don't think that's going to be motivating to them? Like, they're going to want to play their best game of the season? They're going to. And they're going to come out and try and say, we're going to shut down this LSU passing offense, which, at 85 yards last week, only 5 yards in the second half to Auburn. Maybe Tennessee could do it if we fall into those same habits. Because if we look like that again, LSU might as well not even play this game. If we're gonna be that conservative, where you can't even take a shot over 6 yards, just right in the middle, you might as well pack it in and just give them the W. And so I think you're going to see a very aggressive LSU early, right out of the gates. I'm not just meaning offensively, I'm meaning on special teams as well. This is a team that are going to take chances tomorrow against Tennessee. They're going to dare to dream, dare to believe. They're going to play to win the game. You play to win the game. Playoffs. We have to talk about playoffs. They are who we thought they were. Who we thought they were. The pulpit shaking. No, really, God, I hate that train. Luckily, we don't hear that thing at all inside. I mean, it's like it doesn't even exist inside. It's brilliant. But anyway, LSU cannot let Tennessee win this game. Seeing these Tennessee fans so wound up posting videos about, you know, trying to say that a hurricane's coming to Louisiana and all this stuff. Like, I mean, that's classless as hell. That's nasty. Talking about Andrew Jackson and all this ridiculous stuff, saying LSU don't have as many championships as Tennessee, which is kind of funny because, you know, look at their championships before 1998 and after 1998, and you'll see where they're like, little wee wee energy is coming from. It's hilarious. But this John Reed guy, Big Orange Revenge Tour, next stop Baton Rouge, and yeah, this guy was hilarious. This guy was ridiculous. Let's put him on.
LSU. And I've seen LSU in their little hot videos. I saw them highlights of beating FCS teams and 3-win Mississippi State teams at 11 a.m. I saw your little video talking about history. Well, we could talk about history too. I could point out how Tennessee has twice as many wins as LSU does head-to-head in this series. Or how Tennessee has more national championships than LSU does.
Can you hear this guy?
Or we could talk about Brian Kelly and how he's 3-11 against top 10 teams that have their quarterback. Or how he killed that kid.
Or how he
The
killed that kid.
last time this many Tennesseans ascended upon Louisiana, Andrew Jackson won the War of 1812.
Killed that kid.
But I find that remember when is the lowest form of conversation. I find that anyone who wants to focus on the past ain't too excited about the present. And I don't blame the LSU fans. Hell, I've seen Jaden Daniels throw the football. I just don't get all the animosity coming from LSU. You should be proud of Tennessee. You see what happens when an overlooked transfer quarterback gets in a system in year 2 with some high-flying wide receivers. You've seen this story play out. And on Saturday, you're just another chapter in this Big Orange Revenge Tour.
Do you hear this guy?
We took care of Pittsburgh. We took care of the whole backup quarterback
Pittsburgh.
thing. We beat Florida. We really whipped Florida's ass. I understand the whole, you only won by 5 points. You're not that good. LSU fans have been saying that. Well, congratulations, LSU fans. If you go 5 of 6 from 4th down and recover.
Dude, you let Anthony Richardson, who hasn't thrown a touchdown in 300 days and 4 whole games, go for 450 on you. Let that sink in, John Reed.
For an onside kick, maybe you too could come out with a moral victory. But unfortunately, for my Bayou brethren, they better batten down the hatches and prepare the levee because Hurricane Hendon is ready to blow through.
Did you just hear that?
Saturday night, me and about 20,000 of my Big Orange family are ready to celebrate all night.
Did you just hear that? Hurricane Hendon. Hurricane Hendon. I don't know about you. I wish I was in Louisiana right now. If you are in Louisiana, you get yourself to that game. I know it's sold out, but you be there in force in the parking lot, whatever you have to do. We are going to kick Tennessee's ass. You cannot evoke hurricane imagery like that and get away with it. Not on my watch. You cannot disrespect the state of Louisiana like that and get away with it. No. LSU, this is about being great. Brian Kelly's put together a system here that's shown consistency, that's shown fight, that's shown heart, that's shown some desire, but a lot to be desired. Now it's about taking it to the next level. Now it's about making sure you want to be great. Game in, game out. Join us for the post game tomorrow. Our prediction, LSU 42, Tennessee 37. Yep, that's right. And this is from our schedule predictions that the week before the season started. 42-37 LSU. That's our prediction. I know it sounds insane, but I feel like LSU are going to be in a shootout here, And I feel like Jaden Daniels' legs are going to get the offense going, but I think there's going to be some big plays downfield that also kick into gear. And I think you're going to see LSU score a lot of points. I think you're going to see Jack Besh have a touchdown. I think you're going to see Kayshon Boutte have 2. I think you're going to see the Kayshon Boutte's biggest game. Only going to have a few catches, but they're going to be big-time plays after the catch. I think you're going to see some good games from the running back core, but I think they're going to get handled a bit more by Tennessee's defense. And I think you're going to see us have to rely on that passing game. And that's something that hopefully will be kicking into gear, because if it's not, that score is not even close to possible. It'll be more like 42 Tennessee, 13 LSU. So Jaden Daniels, these receivers have to really be making sure that the secondary routes and Jaden Daniels extending the play, that is going to be where we make our money, because that is where Tennessee allowed the most yards. Everybody, little guys waking up. It's going to be a fun one tomorrow. Join us for the post game right after the game, right here. Same bat station, same bat channel, LSUODYSSEY.com, baby. Join us on the site or here on YouTube. Thank you, baby.